Today, we'll take a look into one of the most intense, jaw-dropping, and sometimes downright entertaining element of Donald Trump's time in the spotlight and his epic confrontations with the media.
You said it on Sean Hannity's Fox News. You said
why don't you people act? Let me ask you.
You said
why
some
don't
states.
Why don't you act in a little more positive? It's always trying to
My
get
question to you
is, get you, and you know what? That's why nobody trusts the media anymore. Look, let me tell you something. Be nice. Don't
Mr.
be
President, my
threatening.
question
Don't
is-
be threatening. Be nice.
Question, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, can
Quiet.
you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking a
categorically,
question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us.
Well, don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. Don't talk to. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way. Sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. I didn't call you.
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. What does that have to do with trade? I don't mind answering the question, but you know, I'd like to do the trade.
It has to do with the
questions
other
later.
headline in the news, which is the
I know,
Kavanaugh
but
nomination.
how about talking about trade and then we'll get to that.
If you've ever watched Donald Trump take on reporters, you know he holds nothing back, and oftentimes it's an epic showdown of ideas and opinions. So buckle up, we're about to relive some of Donald Trump's boldest moments where he calls out what he sees as foolish and dumb questions. And let's just say he doesn't sugarcoat his responses. Let's rewind to 2016. During the heat of the presidential campaign, it was already clear Donald Trump wasn't your typical politician. He wasn't interested in the formalities or playing nice. From the get-go, he had no problems calling out questions he thought were loaded, biased, or just plain foolish. One of his most unforgettable exchanges was with CNN's Jim Acosta, who became something of a rival in Trump's eyes. At a 2018 press conference, Acosta tried pressing Trump on his immigration policy. Rather than dodge or deflect, Trump looked him in the eyes and said, "You are a rude and terrible person." Yes, those were his words, and if that wasn't enough, he turned to the crowd and added, "CNN should be ashamed of themselves for having you work for them."
But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
Well, that's true.
But
They weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood.
Right.
These were people. This was an actual. You know, it happened a few days ago, and
They're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of
you know
miles
what?
away.
I
That's
think
not an
you
invasion.
should, honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN,
All right.
and if you did it well, your ratings
Let
would
me
be
ask,
much
if
better.
I may
Okay,
ask
that's
one other
enough.
question, Mr. President. If I may ask
Peter,
one
go
other
ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President,
That's
I was going
enough.
to ask one of the other folks.
That's
have had,
enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr.
Excuse
President,
me. That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other
Peter,
question,
let's
if
go.
I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have
I'm not concerned
indictments-
about anything with
that you
the
may have
Russian
indictments coming down?
investigation because it's a hoax.
Are you-
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN.
Many argue that Trump's response wasn't just bold, it was a game changer, a moment that highlighted Trump's unique approach to handling press criticisms. He didn't play by the rules and seemed to relish these confrontations. But it wasn't just Acosta. Trump had confrontations with all sorts of reporters from top networks. Remember when he called NBC's Chuck Todd sleepy-eyed and labeled the media as the enemy of the people? Some call it outrageous, others saw it as refreshing honesty. To Trump, it was about exposing what he believed were tactics to make him look bad.
You ever see the story where it's 1999, I'm on Meet the Press, a show now headed by Sleepy Eyes Chuck Todd. He's a sleeping son of a, I'll tell you.
Fast forward to the pandemic in 2020 and Trump's clashes with the media reaches new levels. Reporters wanted answers on the crisis and many times they asked tough questions, but Trump felt some were just meant to make him look bad. One time, he responded to CBS Wei-Jie Zhang when she asked why he keeps claiming the US was leading in the testing. He said, "Ask China." When she pushed back, his response was to cut her off and move on to the next question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Said many times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
why does that matter? Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer. Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you, I'm not
China?
saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty question.
Please go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back.
Trump's confrontations weren't limited to just putting reporters in their place. Often, he'd take a question and twist it around, challenging the reporter's entire perspective. Take April Ryan, a journalist from CNN, who asked him whether he'd be meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus. Trump turned it around and asked her, "Do you want to set up the meeting? Are they friends of yours?" Many see this as a bold move that had people buzzing for weeks.
President, in your conversations with your urban agenda, your inner city agenda, as well as...
Am I going to include
Are you going to include the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional
Well,
Hispanic
I would.
Caucus,
I tell you what, do you want to
as
set
well
up the
as on
meeting?
civic
Do you want to
organization?
set up the meeting?
No.
Are they friends of yours?
I'm just a reporter.
No, set up the meeting.
I know some of them, but I'm sure
Let's
they're
go
watching
set up
right
a
now.
meeting. I would love to meet with the Black Caucus. I think it's great, the Congressional Black Caucus. I think it's great.
What really got people talking, though, was the fact that Trump wasn't just aggressive in these moments. He seems to actually enjoy them. His press briefings turns into mini battles where he didn't hold back, where he'd laugh off dumb questions and sometimes even mock the reporters directly. For many supporters, it was exactly what they wanted to see, a leader who didn't care about political correctness and was willing to push back against what he viewed as biased attacks. It wasn't just during press briefings. Trump famously took to X, formerly known as Twitter, where he'd often call out fake news, targeting individual journalists and entire networks by name. This wasn't something the American public was used to, and it only made his confrontations more electrifying to watch. Each tweet, each press conference, each sharp remark left people wondering what he's going to say next. Many argue that whether we agree with Trump or not, one thing is clear: he redefines the way public figures respond to the press. He was direct, sometimes brutally so, but his supporters love his refusal to hold back. For Trump, it was simple. If he thought a question was foolish or meant to trap him, he'd call it out and let everyone know exactly how he felt about it. Despite Donald Trump's often bold and confrontational approach, he has frequently claimed a Christian identity, which some view as a contrast to his outspoken and combative public persona. At times, he has posed with a Bible, suggesting his connection to faith, and he references Christian beliefs, particularly during significant events or in response to challenging situations. For Trump and his supporters, these gestures affirm a sense of Christian identity that aligns with his commitment to speaking openly and defending his view without reservation. Many critics question Trump's Christian identity, pointing to his often harsh words and combative actions as inconsistent with Christian values. However, his supporters firmly believe in his faith, viewing his Bible poses and references to God as genuine. For them, Trump's open displays of faith reflects a personal belief in the Bible and Christian principles, even if his approach is unconventional. They see him as someone who loves and respects the church, standing by his conviction to speak his mind, while embodying what he views as Christian values in his own way. For Trump supporters, his victory in the election signifies hope for policies that aligns with their views, a continuation of the America First agenda, and a leader they believe speaks frankly and support traditional values. His return could mean a push for conservative ideals, strong national security, and economic reforms they find favorable. For his critics, however, Trump's win is concerning. They fear it could bring further divisiveness, challenges to democratic norms, and policies reversals, particularly on social and environmental issues. Many also worry about the tone he sets in public discourse. Donald Trump's confrontations with the media have defined his public image as both a combative figure, unafraid to challenge conventional norms, and a political maverick who refuses to back down. Supporters view him as a strong, unapologetic leader willing to call out what he perceives as media bias, embracing his own unconventional way of expressing faith and traditional values. Critics, however, see these confrontations as detrimental, viewing his rhetoric as divisive and contrary to the decorum typically associated with American leaders. Ultimately, Trump's impact on media landscape and public discourse remains a point of intense debate. For some, he represents a push towards accountability and transparency, embodying values they hold dear. For others, his return could signal potential instability and shifts in national and global policies. Trump's legacy will likely continue to influence political discourse and the role of public figures in challenging or embracing the media, leaving a lasting imprint on the American political and cultural landscape. So, what do you think? Did Trump cross the line with his response to these reporters, or was he simply being authentic, saying what other politicians wouldn't dare to say? Is he truly striving to live for God, or is he just putting on a show? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.